want to dive into some questions I had. You and I spoke last fall. We had a great time, but you kind of teased a little bit about this movie. You teased a little bit about who X was, and you described him as a pimp that you love in some odd way. You know what? Maybe it's because it's you and you're so easy to love. But I mean, I'm curious, what does make him lovable to you? And I mean, as an actor, how did you find love in such a volatile character?
Well, the thing is, I think with any character that I play, I got to find what I love about them. And I knew that was going to be the challenge, taking on a character like X that is based on a real guy who did some real volatile things to women. And I'm such a staunch feminist. I really thought it's a great challenge for me to look into the soul of this person and see what makes him human, and what makes him tick, what his dreams are, what he cares about. And so once I understood him being, an immigrant as well, I took it from the point of view as an immigrant story, which may seem odd, but I thought, this is what this guy has. I don't know if he has his papers or not, but what he has, he's trying to get agency, and he wants what everyone else has. He wants the American dream. He even appropriates, African American, colloquialisms, and really sort of blends in until it reveals itself in some weird turns, or when he's angry. And so I really thought that was a great challenge to find what I love about this guy and what keeps him grounded. And I thought that was a great challenge. So that's what I found. I found that I found his charisma, all the things that he knew he could use, being charismatic, being able to look ahead 5 steps. That's all really amazing things, actually. He knows how to make money, although apparently he didn't know how to price things properly until Zola came along. But he was doing what he could. So that's what I looked at to help me find love for this guy and to make sure that he was just human. He was just a guy who gets caught up in things like everyone else, and it goes very far.
If we're following on this thing that like maybe Derrek and X are separate poles, Derrek certainly becomes the sympathetic one in this triangle of sorts. Why do you see Derrek as someone that's easy to sympathize or empathize with?
He doesn't know how badly he's off of the track that he ought to be on. He's so far from what would make him happy, which is like a nice girl who says, hey, like, you don't have to look cool. Like, you're good. But instead, he thinks he's got to look cool. He thinks he's got to talk a certain way and kind of front like he's some version of X, maybe, or something. Yeah, and I think we empathize with that. People that are caught in relationships that, in a way, it's like an abusive relationship. When you're on the outside of it, you're like, man, that is not good. I wish both of them could just not be together. That guy is in bad shape. But when you're inside of it, you're like, well, today was a bad day, but maybe tomorrow will be better. So I think you empathize for the guy that's more the victim of the relationship and the victim of the movie in a lot of ways too. Zola is as well in a big way, but Derrek suffers some consequences too.
I think the empathy is so interesting because, Zola is our point of view into this movie. And even in the tweets from, a couple years back, in Zola's original tweets, like, you kind of get that sense from her. I mean, she's like, he's lost in the sauce. Like, you really understand that she feels what he's going through too. And I think that's why it's so easy to pick up on in this movie, for sure.
Yeah, she sees it very clearly. They have a couple interactions in the tweets, and they have that scene in the movie, which is one of my favorite scenes between Zola and Derrek. We're in the car, and I'm Derrek showing the vines, and Stefani, she's my heart, and all these things. And Zola's like, I don't really. Are you homeschooled? I think she says. Like she's like, you are so stupid. And I think it's like he doesn't have emotional intelligence. He doesn't know what he's even feeling. He's just running on fumes and just doesn't get. He just doesn't see it clearly. But I think the movie, his arc, at least in the movie, is when this is a spoiler, so I don't know how much this can be included. But at the end, it's not that much of a spoiler because there's a Twitter thread you could read.
Right.
But when he jumps to his potential death, I think that's a moment where a person can't deny you're on the fucking wrong track, man. You gotta take a look. You could have just killed yourself. So
Yeah, not too much of a spoiler, right? We kind of have a sense of where things are going, but
I mean, yeah, it's all out there. So.
yeah, sort of shifting gears. I'm kind of tickled by the fact that this is coming out when it is basically leading into the long holiday weekend, 4th of July weekend. Why does this seem like such a quintessential American story in your mind?
What's more relevant is it's just the middle of the summer and that feeling of, okay, like it's hot and it's thick and you know, it's sort of, you're in the middle of like a period of time that's not all that clear. And I think the movie takes place in that sort of headspace where, you know, you go on this trip, you've left your home, and now you're just in this hot, you know, gnarly kind of place and environments you're not used to. And you're just, you know, I think they're basically up for 48 hours through the whole movie. So, so I guess that those could be the similarities there.
No, that's an incredible read of it. I didn't even put words to that, but this movie captures that feeling so well. That like sweaty, thick air, like you just feel that.
Yeah. They're just, they're just depleted. They're just running on nothing. They don't drink, you know, they don't drink water in the movie. They don't eat food. Like maybe I eat some candy and drink a Red Bull, but everybody else, nobody's like taking care of themselves. You know what? At the end of the movie, when X is in his house with his baby girl, she makes him a smoothie.
Yeah.
And that is such a nice moment, because you're like, finally somebody's doing something good for their body.
What does this movie have to say about America? Why is this like the quintessential like summer movie?
Dude, I think it's truly an American dream story.
Yeah.
It's like everyone just acting rashly and immediately with this immediacy to get theirs, to make some money, to go and have some fun. We're all in that place right now. Everybody's like, I guess we're coming hopefully out of this pandemic, but everyone's ready to get out in the streets. And I think that sometimes, you know, with this group of people, they didn't hit the pause button. They just kept going on instinct and impulse, and then they pay the price later. So I think that says a lot about our culture. That's, you know, people are quick to tweet something without thinking about the repercussions of it. You know, so I think it's really just looking at our culture, period, and what we're all about, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to tell you something Nicholas pointed out. I thought it was such a smart detail. He was talking about how, you know, these people do keep going all night. This is like, you kind of get that feeling of like a hot, sticky summer night, but he's like, there's no sustenance, there's no break. You don't see anyone eat until there's that moment at the end when they're back at X's place and he's eating that meal there. And that's like such a relief to see even that happen after everything else they've been through.
They're not hitting the pause button. They just keep going. They're like, everybody's going for broke, you know? But I do believe that, I mean, I think it's so real because of what did come from a real story, but it's so true. It's like people are not, they're like, it's like when you go to Vegas and people are like, we're just going to hit it hard all night, we're going to party hard and not think about what happens afterwards. You know, until it's 6 o'clock in the morning and we're like, oh, did we do that? That happened. Whoa. Then we take stock of who we are. So I think it's just really looking at young people and American culture.